Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. Welcome to episode 21 of the Unstoppable Entertainment Show, the most comprehensive entertainment news show on the internet. I am, of course, Nate Schaffner, otherwise known as the Unstoppable Nate. Um, Before I get started today, I feel like I owe all of you an apology. I I try very hard to remain consistent with uh, the scheduling of these episodes of this show, and uh, I feel like I haven't been doing that, and this episode is coming late for a couple of reasons, and one of them is that my wife and I were dealing with a couple of family emergencies on her side of the family. Everything's fine, everything's okay. We just weren't sure if if things were going to be okay. But they are, relatively speaking. Everything's good. And also, if I'm being honest, the past couple of days I have been dealing with a couple bouts of depression. Um, so I've been slowly getting through that, and uh, I didn't want to come on and I didn't want to come on and be down in the dumps. I wanted to be relatively okay when I do these episodes, and I feel like I am now. So I apologize for the lateness of this show. I and we just had things to deal with, and sometimes when life happens, it happens in a big way. But everything's fine relatively. And I am going. I know I keep saying this, but I'm going to try really hard to remain consistent with this show. I like doing this show. I like getting positive responses to this show. You know, and I want to continue doing it for the foreseeable future. Excuse me. So I just wanted to say that. As always, if you like this show, uh, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you have a comment, a question, or if you just want to send me a letter or if you want me to talk about certain movies or franchises, you can email me anytime uh, at the address listed in the description of this video. So it's going to be kind of a little bit shorter than last week, or yeah, than the last episode. But there are several significant topics to talk about this week, and the first of those is this. So I say all the time. I hate when. Well, I don't hate it. It irks me when movies get delayed because I want everything to be released when it's scheduled to be released, and it bothers me when things, as an aspiring filmmaker, as a student of film, as a former film school student, I just, it bothers me when things get delayed, and it it just bothers me. Um, so there are a couple movie delays to talk about, and they're significant. So this is regarding some Marvel news, Marvel Cinematic Universe news, uh, and let me see here. I want to make sure I get this right. Um, this was published on May 22nd on CBR. And they are regarding the next two Avengers movies. Um, this article says the upcoming Avengers sequels will be uh, the upcoming Avengers sequels will be releasing much later than expected. Fans will now have to wait until late 2026 to see the first of the upcoming sequels. This article goes on to say, per the Hollywood Reporter, Avengers Doomsday has been pushed back from May 1st, 2026 to December 18th, 2026. Additionally, Marvel Studios has also delayed Avengers Secret Wars from May 7th, 2027 to December 17th, 2027. Um, this article continues, Doomsday is currently in production, and while the delays have not been officially addressed by Marvel, it could be that the Russo brothers, who are directing both of these Avengers films, have realized that they're going to need a lot more time to perfect the big budget films. So there we go with that. Look, in terms of, first of all, anybody who's familiar with the Avengers Secret War storyline in the comics, that is a gigantic piece of work. It's a gigantic story, and look, and I'm not saying Avengers Doomsday isn't, but I don't know what the storyline is for Avengers Doomsday. Obviously, it entails having Doctor Doom in the movie, but beyond that, I don't know. But I can infer what storyline Marvel is adapting for their Avengers Secret Wars movie. And that story is ginormous. So, here's the thing. If you realize that to get this story right, you need more time because and look, I'll be there are many people, there are many fans specifically of the Marvel Cinematic Universe that have been let down by the films and TV shows over the past couple of years. Personally, I am not one of them. There are a couple. I just watched Captain America: Brave New World. I didn't like that one. I didn't like that one too much. That movie felt like an Incredible Hulk sequel more than a Captain America movie. You know, there was that joke in the Deadpool and Wolverine movie. You know, Deadpool says you're coming in at a bit of a low point, and I'm like, are we? I mean, it's all subjective. It's all your opinion. I personally have the past couple of years of Marvel movies and TV shows, have they been as strong as anything pre Infinity War and Endgame? I don't think so, but I don't think anything is. There are only a couple of things that I think were terrible. I have. The bottom line is I have liked most of the stuff that has come out over the past couple of years in regards to the Marvel and film and television shows, the streaming shows. However, I know that there are many fans who feel differently. And I'm sure that the people over at Marvel are aware of this. And if they have realized, if the people at Marvel, Kevin Feige and the Russo brothers, the directors, if they have realized that they need more time to get this right, then you take the time to get it right. If something is important, you make the time to do it and do it right. Now, what's interesting, the silver lining to this is that okay, so Avengers Doomsday has been pushed back from May to December. Avengers Secret War has been delayed from May to December. So they're both coming out the same year. It's just they've been pushed back several months. So that's the silver lining. I should also point out, because I was one of these people. I was like, oh, December, like, I wonder how, because usually when you think of these Avengers movies, these big budget blockbusters, they come out during the summer. And they accumulate huge box office. If you look at, and I don't want to take the time to look up right now to look up to look up what I'm about to say. But my point is, if you look at Disney's track record of releasing movies in December, they have celebrated an enormous amount of success, financial success, by releasing movies in December. I mean, the Disney Star Wars movies, all of the Disney trilogy, they were all released in December, and they all made $1 billion. Force Awakens, I believe, made $2 billion. There's other movies that Disney has released in December that have celebrated enormous financial success. So on the surface, this could seem like releasing these movies in December might not be as financially successful as if they were to release it in May. But if you think about it, and if you look at Disney's recent track record of releasing movies in December, it's really the opposite. They have enjoyed an enormous amount of success, Disney has, by releasing their movies in December. So I'm not worried about it. But look, if the people at Marvel, and I'm sure they're aware of, I'm sure they're aware of a certain number of a certain corner of the fan base being underwhelmed by their recent films. I'm sure that they're aware of it. I don't know whether they would take that into account in terms of what stories they want to tell, but I'm sure that they're aware of it. And look, Avengers Doomsday, Avengers Secret Wars, you're bringing Robert Downey Jr. back as Victor Von Doom. You want to get it right. You want to get it right. And to be honest, the Russo brothers as directors, outside of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they haven't done anything worth talking about. So you want to take the time to get it right. And I'm sure that, as always, Kevin Feige is overseeing every step that they're taking. But look, like I said, if something is important, you want to take the time to get it right. It sucks, but at least it's not coming out like they're not coming out years later. They're only being delayed a few months. They're being released the same year. If they need more time, take the time. It sucks, but at the end of the day, I think we're all going to thoroughly enjoy the end product. So jump in the comment section and let me know what your thoughts are on this. So I actually do want to look up something for this next bit of news that I want to talk about. So, um, last I think it was last episode or the episode before that. Uh, I talked about this announcement that was made. There, there was going to be a video game to film adaptation of um, Elden Ring, which, as any uh, film fan uh, knows, video game video game to film adaptations usually suck. There have been a few bright sparks of light over the past couple of years, but generally speaking, they suck. And Elden Ring, okay, you have to. That's a pretty big. That's a pretty epic uh, undertaking. So we have some news regarding. There is some news regarding that film adaptation, and this was published a couple of weeks ago on Joe Blow by Cody Haman. And this article says it's official. Alex Garland will write and direct a live action Elden Ring movie for A24 and video game company Bandai Namco Entertainment Inc. Incorporated. A24, that's the film studio. So Alex Garland will write and direct the Elden Ring movie. Now, I think, I'm trying to think of the best way to say this. I didn't realize, I'm a huge fan of Alex Garland, but I never even realized it. And let me, I want to make sure I phrase this properly. I didn't realize, like, if you look up his filmography, I've seen most of his films and I didn't even know it. So there's only one of his films that I haven't seen. So Alex Garland, he directed in 2014. He directed this movie called Ex Machina, which is amazing. It has Oscar Isaac and who's in it? Who else is in it? Alicia Vikander. And it's bloody brilliant. It's great. He also directed this movie called Annihilation. It was a science fiction movie starring Natalie Portman and Tessa Thompson. Who else was in it? Oscar Isaac is in that one too, and that one's great. He also last year he directed this movie called Civil War, which I saw in the theater, and it was great. It's and there's a little for those that choose to see it. That movie may or may not be a little allegorical. For those that choose to see it. If you don't choose to see it, then it's simply a very good story. But Civil War, the movie Civil War is great. There are two movies, actually, of his that I have not seen. There was this movie called Men that came out in 2022, which I have not seen. I've heard it's pretty good. And there was this movie that came out earlier this year called Warfare, which I didn't see, but I've heard that one's great too. So as far as Alex Garland as a filmmaker goes, him tackling Elden Ring, I have no doubt that it's going to be great. He's um, the if you've seen any of his films, um, he's an incredible filmmaker. That's the best way I can put it, and I have no doubt that, like, to me, Elden Ring depends on the filmmaker, right? Like, well, yeah, it all depends on the filmmaker and what they bring. And if you look at Alex Garland's filmography, it's sparkling. Um, so I'm a little I'm relieved that a filmmaker the caliber and talent of Alex Garland is tackling this project. Um, so I think this could be great. I think this could be great. I think it's a little this is a little out of his wheelhouse in terms of the scale and scope of this, but I have no doubt that he can pull it off. So jump in the comment section and let me know your thoughts about Alex Garland directing the Elden Ring film adaptation. Um, so this next bit of news is regarding an upcoming Joel Coen movie. Um, so Joel and Ethan Coen, the Coen brothers, they they're one of together. I'm trying to think of the best way to say this. I enjoy their films. I'm a huge Coen brothers fan, first of all, but I think the two of them working together, Joel and Ethan Coen have had uh, a pretty good uh, success. Have had pretty successful careers as solo filmmakers, but I think I enjoy the films that they've worked on together more. Um, um, oh Jesus, sorry. um, there was this movie that came out um, last year called Drive Away Dolls, and it was directed by Ethan Coen. And then what was it? The Tragedy of Macbeth, that came out in 2021, was directed by Joel Coen. So I would say that the Tragedy of Macbeth is a better movie, but so they've endured they've endured they've had a pretty good amount of success as solo filmmakers, but I think I enjoy the movies more when they're working together. So anyway, so there's Joel Coen is going to be filming a movie this summer um, with Josh O'Connor. This article is on Deadline, published by Baz Bamigboy, on May 23rd. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. So this article says Josh O'Connor will star in director Joel Coen's new film Jack of Spades, which will shoot this summer on location in Scotland, we can reveal. Details about Jack of Spades are sparse, but the movie continues British-born O'Connor's phase of working with American directors. Let's see. Let's see. So I believe let me see. So, okay. I believe Josh O'Connor was in Challengers. Sorry about that delay. Um, I think Josh O'Connor, yeah, he was in Challengers, and he was great in Challengers. So Joel Coen's last solo feature was The Tragedy of Macbeth, um, and it's great. It's great. Um, so I I would say that when it comes to solo directing, I think Joel Coen is a better solo director. I think they work best with. I think they work best together. Um, so this excites me. Look, I mean, Joel Coen's last solo effort was the Tragedy of Macbeth with Denzel Washington, and it's so good. It's so good. This there's not much. Um, there's not many details regarding this movie, unfortunately, so I can't offer an opinion, much of an opinion anyway. All I can tell you is that I like Joel Coen's last movie was great, um, and so I'm looking forward to his next solo effort. And I the last time I saw Josh O'Connor in a movie, which was Challenges, I loved the movie and I loved him in it. So I have no doubt that um, I think this movie is going to be really good. Um, both of them are extremely talented. So um, so yeah, I that's unfortunately all I can offer about this. So jump in the comment section and let me know what your thoughts are on um, Joel Coen's next solo effort as a director and Josh O'Connor being a part of it. So this next bit of news um, is regarding more. Um, excuse me. More Marvel Cinematic Universe news. And this has to do with the uh, Marvel's uh, ne- Marvel's Disney Plus series Vision Quest, which is obviously going to be based around the character of Vision. So this article um, was published on May 27th on CBR by John Dodge. Um, and this article says the fall of the House of Usher star Tania Miller is officially set to make her Marvel Cinematic Universe debut in Vision Quest. This article goes on to say, per Deadline, Miller has been added to the cast of the MCU's Paul Bettany-led series in the role of a beloved fan favorite hero from the world of Marvel Comics, Jocasta. Um, it does say, although details regarding the specific role that Miller's Jocasta will play in the series story have been kept under wraps, it is expected that she will be counted among its main cast members. Now, for those who are not familiar with Jocasta, uh, the character of Jocasta, this article does provide some insight into that character, which I will read now. Introduced in the pages of 1977's Avengers number 162 by Jim Shooter and George Perez, Jocasta is an advanced artificial intelligence created by the villainous Ultron to serve as both his unwitting bride. Excuse me. Excuse me. I love when they come out of nowhere like that. Jocasta is an advanced artificial intelligence created by the villainous Ultron to serve as both his unwitting bride and a twisted counterpart to Janet Van Dyne, aka the Wasp. Rather than playing along with Ultron's egomaniacal fantasies, the remnants of Janet's consciousness that were imparted into Jocasta's artificial psyche ensured that she quickly came into her own as a hero and stood against her malevolent progenitor. In the years since, Jocasta has played a key role in multiple major storylines, including Marvel Comics' Robot Revolution as seen in the publisher's Iron Man 2020 event. So this is interesting. Um, so I um, this could be really interesting. I like the idea of. First of all, I love Paul Bettany as Vision. Love him. And I love him as an actor too. I think he's great. Um, so I Jocasta. I love this idea of two um, artificial intelligence, these two AIs going head, possibly going to head with each other. Maybe they won't. Maybe they'll work together. I don't know. But I like this. I wonder how they're going to adapt it for this series. Um, I but this is interesting to me, and I wonder what role Jocasta will play in this series. Either way, whatever it is, I'm really looking forward to the show. I loved WandaVision, um, and I'm really looking forward to what the story of Vision Quest will be. Um, Sorry, my throat's very dry today. But I like this idea that we're getting multiple AIs in this series. I think that could be really interesting. So jump in the comment section. Look, I should point out, I'm not familiar with Tania Miller, but the the Fall of the House of Usher is a show that everybody is talking about, which I have not seen, unfortunately. So, um, but I'm sure she'll be great. But I like this idea. I'm looking forward to this show. So jump in the comment section and let me know what your thoughts are about this. Give me just a second here. Okay. So this next bit of news has to do with some um, foreign cinema, which I have been on record of saying I'm trying to get better at watching more foreign films. So this article is on Variety, and this was published May 28th by Nick Vivarelli. Um, this article says Marion Cotillard is set to star in French director Bertrand Mandico's Roma Elastica, a homage to the glory days of Italian cinema that will shoot soon at Rome's Cinecittà Studios. Um, Let me see here. If it gives any. Oh, this article goes on to say plot details of Roma Elastica are being kept under wraps, besides that it's a homage, quote, to some of the great masters of Italian cinema, unquote, as Cinecittà CEO Manuela Cacciamani put it during a press conference about the latest developments at the famed Rome film facilities. Okay, so this homage, a film about a film being an homage to Italian cinema. First of all, Marion Cotillard was in this movie called La Vie en Rose, where she played French singer Edith Piaf, and that movie is it's a really emotionally powerful film, and Marion Cotillard is great in the movie. She won the Oscar. She was also in. She's been in several. She's been in a couple movies from Christopher Nolan, The Dark Knight Rises and Inception. She's a wonderful actress. So, and like I said, I'm trying really hard to watch more foreign films, to broaden my horizons, as it were. So I like this idea of this. I like this idea of a movie paying an homage to Italian cinema. And for me personally, a movie that pays homage to a certain time period of cinema and a certain brand of cinema, that as far as me personally, that would open the door to, okay, you're paying an homage to a certain era of cinema, a certain brand of cinema. I am now interested in exploring that, the type of cinema that you're paying homage to. And that intrigues me. So I'm not familiar with this French director, Bertrand Mandico. I'm not familiar. But I do love Marion Cotillard, and I like this idea of a movie paying an homage to the glory days of Italian cinema. I love that. So there's not much to go on here. But other than that, I like this. I'm intrigued by this. Marion Cotillard being in this movie automatically gets my attention. So jump in the comment section and let me know your thoughts about this, if you have any. So this next bit of news is interesting. So for those who don't know, there is going to be a Friday the 13th prequel series called, and it's going to be on the Peacock streaming service, and it's going to be called Crystal Lake, and they've already started pre-production on the series, which means they've started planning the series. Pre-production is essentially they've started mapping out details and started planning. So this bit of news is on CBR, published 6 days ago by John Dodge. There's some casting news regarding this Crystal Lake prequel series, Friday the 13th prequel series. This article says, pre-production on the upcoming Friday the 13th prequel series is well underway. Following previous casting news, Crystal Lake has filled another major role. This article goes on to say, per Deadline, the upcoming series from Peacock and A24 has added 1001 actor William Catlett to the cast. The actor will play Levon Brooks alongside Linda Cardellini's Pamela Voorhees. No further details regarding the character or his role in the series were revealed. Okay, so William Catlett was in. The only thing that I know him from, he was in this vampire movie last year called Abigail, which was kind of a pseudo remake of Dracula's Daughter, and it's awesome. That movie Abigail is awesome. There's so much blood in that movie. It's great. It's great. I loved it. But William Catlett was in that movie. So there's not much to go on here. He will play this character called Levon Brooks. I believe that's an original character. Look, I don't know how I feel about a Friday the 13th prequel series. I can tell you that I am a fan of the franchise, even though I think the original, I've said this before, but I think the original Friday the 13th movie is the best one, and I think after that, the franchise became kind of schlocky. and not that there's anything wrong with that, but if you want to look at them as horror movies to be taken seriously, the original is the best one. After that, I mean, they're fun, they're entertaining, they're schlocky. God, I hated the 2009 remake of Friday the 13th. Oh my God, that was terrible. Oh. So I'm intrigued by this because I think the Friday the 13th franchise is at a point where, and I could be wrong about this, but I think the Friday the 13th franchise is at a point where it's like, would anybody care about another installment of the franchise? And I think a TV series is the way to go. Because if it's good, it could reinvigorate the franchise and possibly do another movie. I think I don't know why I think this. It could just be my own personal intuition. But I think if they were to do another Friday the 13th movie, just because the last one was so god awful, I think if they were to do another movie, nobody would care. But I think the idea of doing a streaming show, a streaming series, is interesting enough to I think it piques people's interest. Like, oh, they're doing a series. That's interesting. What's it going to be about? I think if they were to do another movie, it would be like, well, we all know what that's going to be. But the idea of a prequel series is interesting to me. And I like the franchise enough that's intrigued. It's going to be interesting to see because how the series will evolve, because it's going to be a prequel to the original film. It'll be interesting to see what the story is. But I like the idea. I like the idea. If it's good, I'll watch it. So yeah, there's not much to go on here, except more casting news. But I like the idea of doing a series. Look, I think the franchise was. I think the Friday the 13th franchise is danger of being. I think it's in danger of being played out, and so I think a streaming series is the way to go. I could be wrong. Maybe people won't care. I'm intrigued enough. You cast Linda Cardellini as Pam Voorhees. That piques my interest. So I like this. We'll see what happens. So jump in the comment section and let me know your thoughts about this. So this next bit of news, I should preface this next bit of news by saying this is difficult to talk about, but sometimes things happen within the film industry, and this is just my personal opinion. Sometimes things happen within the film industry that can cause film fans, that can cause movie fans to look at certain people within the industry differently. Something happened in the industry a couple of weeks ago. This article was published on May 27th. So that's all I know. So all I can say is, look, this subject is difficult to talk about. I just want to preface this by saying, it's difficult to talk about. It may be difficult to listen to, but I feel it's necessary to talk about because sometimes things happen within the film industry, within the entertainment industry, that can cause you to look at people differently, and can affect whether or not you continue to support their work, I guess is the best way to put it. So, and I've made some notes here, so I want to make my thoughts clear on this. And like I said, this is just while I personally am not affected by what I'm about to talk about, it's difficult to talk about, and it does make me look at certain people within the industry differently. So, anyway, Kevin Costner, for those who don't know, Kevin Costner has this passion project that he's working on called Horizon, an American Saga, and it's supposed to be this grand epic Western film series. It was going to be 4 installments about the forging of the American West, I suppose. I want to make sure I get yeah. So the film series, it was supposed to be 4 movies, like epic westerns, and it takes place in in Civil War America and details the exploration of the American West. And this was a passion project for Kevin Costner. And he put his own money into it. Now, first of all, I have an enormous amount of respect for people who, for filmmakers who put their own money into projects that they want to do. That takes huge balls. Huge balls. Unfortunately, you also have to make sure that you make a good movie. Now, I just want to say for the record, I like Kevin Costner just fine as an actor. He's not somebody that if he's in a movie, I need to see it. He's somebody that, I guess the best way to put it is, oh, Kevin Costner's in this movie. That's cool. You know, he's just happened to be in movies that I like. You know, I like him fine. I love him as a director. I love his work as a director. I own the 4-hour version of Dances with Wolves. I love that movie so much. So Kevin Costner has put his own money into making these films. And like I said, you know, that takes huge balls because you have to have faith that you've made a good movie. And the first installment of this Horizon, an American Saga film series, flopped hard at the box office. Hard. It completely, to the point now, like nobody went to go see it at all. I think, and again, I could be wrong about this, but I think the higher ups behind the making of this movie thought, oh, it's Kevin Costner and it's a Western. People will go see it. No, not really. It has to be a good movie. I didn't see it. Not that that means anything, but so Kevin Costner is starring and directing these movies. And like I said, the first installment flopped hard. Real bad. To the point that I believe the next 3 installments are in danger of even being released. Which sucks. It sucks. I have not seen the first installment. It did not get good reviews at all, which may or may not have had a hand in why it flopped. So, Horizon Chapter 2 has faced... there's a specific issue that I want to talk about. But other than this issue that I want to talk about, Horizon Chapter 2 has faced several legal problems, which I will not get into. So it not only is it in danger of even being released, this Horizon, specifically Horizon Chapter 2, has faced several legal problems. Now, this article was published. This is the issue that I wanted to talk about, and I just want to warn people that it's difficult to talk about, so it may be difficult to hear it. So this article was published on May 27th on The Hollywood Reporter by Katie Kilkenny. So the headline reads, Kevin Costner is getting sued by Horizon 2 stunt performer over unscripted rape scene. So this article says, one day in May 2023, stunt performer Devin Labella showed up to the Utah set of Horizon and American Saga Chapter 2, the second part of the sprawling Western series from Kevin Costner, expecting to double for one of the film's stars in some basic, fairly boring shots. Instead, she says, she was surprised by being subjected to an unscripted, brutal rape scene without proper notice, consent, or the presence of a contractually mandated intimacy coordinator. Now, Labella is suing Costner and the film's production companies for sexual discrimination, harassment, and the creation of a hostile work environment. Moreover, the complaint alleges Labella faced retaliation after she reported the incident by not being called back for subsequent work on the Horizon series and never being hired again by the film's stunt coordinator with whom she had worked previously. This article gives a quote from Devin Labella. On that day, I was left exposed, unprotected, and deeply betrayed by a system that promised safety and professionalism, Labella said in a statement to The Hollywood Reporter. What happened to me shattered my trust and forever changed how I move through this industry. In a statement, Costner's attorney, Marty Singer, said his client, quote, always wants to make sure that everyone is comfortable working on his films and takes safety on set very seriously, unquote. He says, however, that the lawsuit has absolutely no merit and is completely contradicted by Labella's own actions and the facts. Okay. So, the reason I wanted to talk about this is because sometimes things happen off camera that can affect us as movie fans. It can affect us in terms of whether or not you continue to financially support their work. And I personally feel that this is one of those things. First of all, let me just say, I believe that every allegation, every accusation, male, female, should be taken seriously. I truly believe that. So, basically what happened is that this stunt double showed up to work and was, I don't want to say forced, but she was subjected to doing a rape scene that was not in the script. They just came up with it on the spot, and this was sprung on her without notice, without any notice whatsoever. So there are a couple of things that I want to say about this. First of all, I can already hear people say, well, then why did you agree to do it if it's not in the script? Look, I have minimal experience in the film industry. I have worked on 4 productions. So my knowledge of these types of situations is non-existent. But I can already hear people saying, "Well, then why did you agree to do it if it's not in the script?" Believe me when I tell you that anyone and everyone on a film production, in front of and behind the camera, is replaceable. If this stunt double, Devin Labella, if she didn't agree to do it, they were going to find somebody who would. Trust me on that. I cannot believe that there was nobody on this set to not necessarily protest, but argue about what's the point of doing this scene. This is not in the script. You just came up with this on the spot. No proper notice, consent, or contractually mandated intimacy coordinator. How is this allowed to happen? That is my question. This stunt double, Devin Labella, she is not an actress. She is a stunt double. She is used to doing shots of falling off horses and doing stunt work, not acting. And when you are doing, first of all, this scene was sprung on her. They sprung this on Devin Labella, the stunt double, because the actress didn't want to do it. So we're going to bring in your stunt double. Doing this type of scene, doing a rape scene that was not in the script, I would imagine takes you have to mentally prepare to do a scene like that. And that is something that a stunt performer, a stunt double, is absolutely. There's no reason for a stunt double to be prepared to do a scene like that. Period. End of story. So for Devin Labella, stunt performer, no acting experience whatsoever, to be subjected to this, I feel is absolutely unacceptable. Now, if I'm going to put my filmmaker, my aspiring filmmaker cap on for just a minute. Even if a scene like this is, if I'm making a film or a TV show and a scene like this, even if it's in the script, I am making sure that everyone involved in this scene is comfortable doing it. And I am the kind of person that if any one of my actors involved in the scene is not comfortable doing it, then we're not doing it. I am not the kind. Look, and I'm not trying to tell Kevin Costner what to do, but I'm not exactly experienced in, I've made short films in film school. I've made documentaries. I haven't tackled anything like this, but I am the kind of filmmaker. I'm the kind of aspiring filmmaker that if I'm doing a scene like this, I'm having conversations with everyone involved in this scene. Are you comfortable with this? What are you and what are you not comfortable with? I'm having waivers signed saying that you are okay with this and you're agreeing to do this. I am taking every necessary action to ensure that everyone involved in this scene is comfortable doing it. And if you're not comfortable doing it, I'm not going to subject you to it. And we'll figure it out. So this idea, so the fact that this happened, as I'm sure with many other people, it bothers me. It disgusts me. And it makes me, because Kevin Costner is the director of this film, I don't know for a fact that he was involved in making the decision to do this scene. But as the director of this film, I just naturally assume that he was. I now look at Kevin Costner a little bit differently. You come up with this scene on the spot. You essentially you subject this stunt double who has no acting experience whatsoever. You subject her to a brutal rape scene without proper notice, without proper consent, or the intimacy coordinator, the contractually mandated intimacy coordinator. And it should be pointed out that she allegedly was not allowed back on set. Or she alleges Devin Labella allegedly faced retaliation after she reported the incident by not being called back for subsequent work on the series, and never being hired again by the film stunt coordinator. This is one of those things where I read this and I'm disgusted that this happened, but I'm also disgusted that I am trying to make a living in this industry. The fact that this actually happened, the fact that this happens, it's disgusting. It should never be allowed. And Devin Labella is about to get paid. She's and look, I say this, I say this, every allegation, every accusation should be taken seriously. If this is true, Devin Labella is about to get paid, and paid big time. And this does not help. Look, Horizon Chapter 2 is already facing several legal problems. And this doesn't help. And I wouldn't be surprised if the rest of these installments, if this movie's pulled, if this movie never gets released, and if it does, I ain't seeing it. Because I look at the creative people involved in making this decision and they disgust me. The fact that this happened. So I just wanted to I wanted to talk about this, as I said, because sometimes things happen within the industry on sets that affect whether or not we continue to support certain people's work and continue to go see their films and whatnot. Sometimes it causes us to look at people differently. I know it was difficult. It's difficult for me to talk about it, and I know it must have been difficult for you to hear, but I just wanted to offer my thoughts. And yeah, that's all I have to say. So If you guys have any thoughts regarding this, please jump in the comment section and let me know. But I felt the need to talk about it. So I'm going to move on here to something much more pleasant, because I didn't want to end. I didn't want to end this week's show on a sour note. So I have talked in recent weeks. Actually, it was either the last episode or the episode before. That there's going to be another installment of the Meet the Parents film series, Meet the Parents 4. And there has been some casting news regarding Meet the Parents 4. This article is on the Hollywood Reporter, published on May 30th by Boris Kitt. And this article says, months after earning an Oscar nomination for her performance in Wicked, worldwide pop star Ariana Grande has finally found her next movie. The Grammy-winning singer is set to join Robert De Niro and Ben Stiller in the newest installment of Universal's comedy movies series, Meet the Parents. Let's see. Let me see here. If it gives... This article does go on to say, while much of the plot remains under lock and key, the Hollywood Reporter can reveal that one point revolves around the son of Stiller and Polo's character. That's Terry Polo, who plays Ben Stiller's wife. Revolves around the son of Stiller and Polo's characters, who gets engaged to a ball-busting woman who seems all wrong for him. Sources say Grande will play the fiance. Okay, so let me just say this. My familiarity with Ariana Grande is with Wicked. And that's it. I know of her name. I know that she's a singer. Her music isn't really for me. But she was obviously great in Wicked. And I know nothing. Look, I knew nothing going into Wicked. I knew nothing about it. The story, I knew Defying Gravity. I knew that song. But I didn't understand it within the context of the story because I didn't know the story. I went with my wife, Katie. It was my birthday present to her. You know, we always do a movie for her birthday. And I loved it. I loved Wicked. It almost made my my top 5 of the year. It's great. And Ariana Grande is great. So I'm going to be honest. I am not sure if Ariana Grande has been in other movies. And if she has, then I haven't seen them. But I do know that she was great in Wicked. That's my opinion. I think she was great in Wicked. So her being in... I'm glad to see her doing other films. I'm glad that, because obviously Wicked could tailor to her because she's a singer too, so she can obviously do the musical numbers. But I like that she's going to be in a movie where it's going to be a solely acting role, like no singing. I like that she's branching out and doing more acting. And maybe maybe her involvement with Meet the Parents 4 will get more people interested in it, because quite honestly, I don't know how many people would be interested in seeing a Meet the Parents 4. I just don't know. After the original, the series really went downhill. but maybe because of the popularity of Ariana Grande being in this movie, maybe that will attract more of an audience. Who's to say? But so I loved Ariana Grande in Wicked, her singing and her acting, and I like the fact that she's branching out into doing more acting. And you know, uh, Ben Stiller and Terry Polo and Robert De Niro and Blythe Danner, they've been they've been around a bit, so I think that will also, like, Ariana Grande will that'll bring out the best in Ariana Grande as an actress. She'll step up her game. I think, and I like the fact that she's playing this girl who seems all wrong for Ben Stiller and Terry Polo's son. I think that's hilarious, and I think I'm interested to see that character now. I think that's going to be really funny. But so I like this. I like the fact that Ariana Grande is branching out, becoming an actress, being in a comedy. Maybe this will attract more of an audience because she's in it. Who's to say? Are you guys interested at all in a Meet the Parents 4? Me, not so much. But, if it's good, I'll end up seeing it. So what are your thoughts on this? Jump in the comment section and let me know. Well, that'll about do it for this week. Again, I wholeheartedly apologize for the delay, but sometimes life happens, and so I will be back sometime this weekend. It's going to be a little bit different of a show this weekend, though. So stay tuned for that. But I will be back this weekend, this coming weekend. So there's that. So I just wanted to say thank you for your patience in this show, with me uploading these shows. I will get better at this. Again, sometimes life happens. But so if you like this show, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, spread the word, tell your friends, and if you want me to talk about anything specifically in the entertainment industry, films, franchises, actors, whatever, send me an email, let me know, and until this coming weekend, I will see you at the movies.